Hello and thanks for joining us again. This week we're talking about how we can teach our learners to follow instructions related to health and safety. Teaching these skills will help to keep our learners safe both at home and in the community. There are many skills that can be taught, but they can vary in the way that we teach them. The aim of some skills is for our learners to follow instructions independently. That means that we work on fading our prompts so that they can independently follow an instruction. An example of this could be when you ask your learner to come and stand with you. The aim of other skills could be around the time element, and we want them to follow an instruction for a specific period of time. For example, we've asked our learner to wait with us. So we'll start with short durations of time before gradually increasing the duration. Some of the skills that we teach at school that are time-based are holding hands with a caregiver in the community, as well as joining in a line and waiting their turn in shops, and waiting in a designated area for a certain period of time. Another important skill that some learners might need help with is wearing a seatbelt for increasing periods of time. Skills that are taught based on how independently they can complete an instruction could be sitting or laying down when asked to do so by a doctor. The examples that we're going to show you are coming to sit and stand with us when asked to do so, which would be an independence-based way of teaching, and we'll also show you how to teach waiting with us for increasing periods of time, which will be the time-based way of teaching. Now we'll show you how to teach these skills.
When teaching new skills, it's really important that we reinforce all the behaviours that we want to see increase in the future. Now, you know your child best, so to begin with, identify something that your child really loves. This could be their favourite toys, it could be their favourite snacks, it might be something like tickles or you singing to them. Now, if it is possible, try and save these items for when you're going to practice them following some of these instructions. If you aren't able to do that, it isn't a problem though. As we spoke about in previous videos, we're going to be using prompting techniques in order to teach our learners these new skills. It's really important that we try and fade back on these prompts in order for our learners to be as independent as possible. Now, as a little refresher to remind us of those different prompt levels. To begin with, our learners might need a full physical prompt. So you may have to go over and physically guide them to where they're meant to be standing. Next, you might want to use a partial prompt. So actually you go over and maybe you just kind of tap their elbow to guide them to where they need to be. And then you want to try and fade into a more gestural prompt. So maybe you just point to where they come and need to sit. Now, it is really important that when we're practicing these skills, we are trying to fade back on those prompts so that eventually our learners are going to be able to independently respond when we say things like come and stand with me or come and sit with me. When teaching our learners to respond to instructions such as to come and sit with you and to come stand with you, it's really important that we mix up the way that we say it. So sometimes you might say, come and sit with me. Sometimes you might say, come sit over here, or you might say, come over here with me. Now, it's important that we do this so that our learners don't just learn to respond to that one instruction of come sit with me. Let's go for an example of what teaching some of these instructions, such as come and sit with me or come and stand with me, might look like. Now, your child might be out in the garden and you come to the patio door and you might say something such as come and stand with me. Give your child a couple of seconds to see if they're able to respond independently. If your child comes over and stands with you, you want to reinforce this straight away. So if you'd identified the iPad being one of their favourite toys, then deliver the iPad when they come over. Now, if you've said to your child, come and stand with me, and they've not responded, you want to repeat that again, come stand with me, but this time you're going to prompt them straight away to come and stand next to you. Now, it's really going to depend on your learner what prompt level they might need. So it might be to begin with, you say, come stand with me. They haven't responded. You then say, come stand with me, and you physically guide them over to where you're standing. You then want to reinforce at this point still. Now, again, you want to practice this a lot so we're able to fade back on those prompts. So maybe they go and play for a little bit longer, and then you practice it again, come stand with me. They haven't responded, come stand with me, but this time you're able to give them just a partial prompt. You just tap them on the elbow. Again, they go and play for a little while longer, and then maybe you practice it again. Come and stand with me. They didn't respond. Come stand with me. And maybe this time you just point to where they need to stand and then they come over, and then you reinforce. Now, if your child responds more independently, provide more of the reinforcer. So if it's the iPad, for example, and they've come over more independently, let them have the iPad for a little bit longer. And this is going to help them to be more independent in the future. Another crucial health and safety instruction that your learners need to learn to follow are time-based instructions. So for example, you might tell your child that they need to come and wait with you. Now, when we're teaching time-based skills, it's important we break it down into small increments. So it could be that you start off just teaching your child to wait with you for 5 seconds. Once they're competent at doing this, we might increase it to 10 seconds. And then we'll increase it again 15, maybe 30 seconds, a minute, and so on. It's really going to be learner dependent on how quickly we increase those times. It's really important for our learners that they can respond to these health and safety instructions in lots of different environments. Now, we'll be practicing these skills lots in school, but it'll be great for you to practice them at home and in your community. Now, if your child is someone that really struggles with instructions such as waiting with you, then it's best to start practicing these skills at home rather than in the community where it might not be safe yet. Let's go through an example together of how we might start teaching your child to wait with you. Now, you might want to start off just with a really small time, such as 5 seconds. Now, you say to your child, you need to wait with me, and they need to stay standing next to you without moving away or having challenging behaviour for the required time that you've set. So if this is 5 seconds, you say you need to wait with me, and at 5 seconds, you then let them go wherever they want to go, and you deliver reinforcement as well. So if they really like the iPad, maybe they can have the iPad and they can go off and play. Now, if you have said to your child, you need to wait with me, and they move away from the area or they engage in challenging behaviour, it's okay just to let them go, but don't deliver the reinforcer. So don't provide the iPad. And then you can practice again in a little bit. So bring them back and try again. You need to wait with me. If again they move away from the area, then that's fine. And you can bring them back again and try again later. Now, if you've practiced a few times and they've still not been successful, then maybe lower the time so that they are successful. So maybe bring them back and just say, you need to wait with me, but just require them to wait for 2 seconds. And then if they're successful, you can deliver the iPad and let them go off and play. Once your learners becoming more competent at being able to wait with you for the required time and they're successful every time you practice this, then maybe you want to start increasing that time that they need to wait with you. So if you had been working on 5 seconds and every time you practice it, they get it straight away, then the next time say, come wait with me, and get them to wait for 10 seconds. And again, once they start getting this successfully, increase the time again. Now, once your child starts becoming really competent at being able to wait with you for these increased lengths of time, that's when maybe you might want to start practicing this out in the community. So maybe when you go to the park or when you're in the supermarket, just getting them to respond to that instruction to wait next to you without moving away.
Okay, so for this example, I'm going to teach my learner to come and stand with me when I ask him to do so. As Danny explained, I'm going to allow just a couple of seconds to see if he'll respond independently when I first ask. If he doesn't, I'm going to say it again and go in to prompt him straight away to make sure that he's successful and he can really understand what that instruction means. Here's what it may look like. Can you come stand over here with me? So he hasn't responded. I'm going to say it again and then prompt. Come stand over here with me. That's it, there you go. So this example is going to look exactly the same as the previous one where I asked my learner to stand with me, except this time I'm going to teach him to follow the instruction to come and sit. Let me show you. Come sit with me. So he hasn't responded, I'll say it again and go with the prompt. Come sit with me. That's it, there you go.
So for this week's session, we have looked at teaching our learners to follow instructions related to health and safety. There are many skills within our homes and within the community that are required to ensure the safety of our learners, therefore beneficial to teach. This week we are focused on teaching our learners to follow instructions of either come sit with us or come stand with us and to wait with us for increasing periods of time. It is especially important for our learners to follow these instructions when visiting places and locations within the community, such as parks, woodland areas, swimming pools, shops and many more. Our learners may be unaware of the possible dangers within the locations they may visit, such as lakes, ponds, roads, etc. If our learners unintentionally wander off or elope within these locations, it can result in dangerous safety concerns for our learners. For example, you and your learner are visiting a country park surrounded by woodland. Whilst transitioning around the country park, you bump into a friend and decide to stop and have a brief chat with them. The skill of following the instruction to come stand with you would be important in this scenario, requiring your learner to transition to you and stand with you when they are asked to do so. It is also important in this scenario for our learners to remain with us and wait for a specific period of time whilst you are having a brief chat with a friend, instead of our learners wandering off or eloping, resulting in getting lost and being exposed to the possible dangers within that environment. Another example could be if you are sitting on a bench within the park whilst your learner plays nearby. You notice some geese getting close to your learner, which is a possible danger. Therefore, you ask your learner to come sit with you, removing your learner from the situation and preventing your learner from possibly getting hurt. The importance of teaching and maintaining these skills to our learners in many settings will ensure our learners can follow these instructions and remain safe within any locations they may visit. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.